One, you have to account for all the variables in terms of the actual map and zones and where we actually are playing these end games. Of course, that was a game on a bit flatter land, right? And so it meant that there was less cover for some of these teams. But all in all, man, like, it's just never going to be easy, right? This is Fortnite at the end of the day. There's so much going on. There's so many things that are just so hard to deal with. Like, when you got tanks rolling around, Clay, like, at what point do you just go, you know what, this is my fate? You know, like I'm not gonna survive this, right? So, you know, these things will happen. I'm sure we'll see it as we go game to game, right? You know, just sort of adjustments from certain teams, maybe different sort of strats around how they play certain situations. But I think it's just gonna be as crazy as that first game.
I'd have to agree. There's not many strats you can change when there are tanks rolling around. You just got to hop in them, maybe try to rotate behind them if you can get sneaky enough. But I mean, the best thing about the tanks is you can have one player shooting the cannon one way and the other player using the gun the opposite way and be perfectly fine. As we see, this is going to be a northeast to southwest zone. A little bit better of a split for some of these players, but nonetheless, it's still going to be looking about the same split up on the map.
Yeah, I want to see some more off-spawn fights. Of course, we didn't get to watch as many in that first game, so hopefully we can get a taste of some of the action going on earlier in the games. Of course, yeah, you know, it's not like we're going to miss out on much in terms of, you know, if we miss out on some off-spawn action, because there is just constant battling between these teams all throughout the game. But again, I think we see a bunch of names over towards Covert, which is going to be very interesting in terms of what actually goes down there. I think we saw someone potentially get knocked as well, but maybe they've been picked up. So yeah, a lot going to be going on everywhere, it seems.
See, I was like, not as many teams tilted as I would have thought. I would have thought a couple more. You know, no building tilted's kind of the place to be. You can really play around with the builds that are already there and the cover, but move over to Chonker Speedway, Dexify, and Spire. Just chilling. Not much happening there for them. The best thing about no build for them is they don't have to worry about trying to farm up. They can just straight loot. And as you can see, they do have that instinct to farm up those materials. But look at the load already on Spy. It does have a epic MK7 rifle in the inventory, dropping the shotgun for the repair torch, and really just gonna hit home with that the MK7.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't see more repair torches in that first game, right? Because obviously a lot of people's vehicles were just sort of getting battered down by the lobby. I'm sure we wanted to see more of that in terms of with the tanks instead, right? But people were, you know, taking shots at the vehicles, and I think in regular competitive, you see people carry around the blowtorches a bunch just because it allows you to sort of get the vehicle back up. I think there were changes though, right, in the latest update that mean that you can't, right? Or I'm not sure if they will apply in terms of this game mode, so maybe that's something to watch out for. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We can see FHD though over here towards the tilted blimp. And these elevated positions are very interesting, right? In terms of if you're sitting up on one of the blimps, your field of view, your lines of sight are so significant that it just almost makes it impossible for the people you're playing to almost deal with you in that sense, unless you sort of zipline your way on up, and at that point they can hear you and they can prepare themselves for you. So very strong position there to be for FHD.
Oh, and look, 3JMY7 getting knocked, our winner from last game, going down, and that just shows how volatile no building is. Doesn't matter if you win the last game. If you get caught out, you are eliminated. But you're right about the blimps, Levin. Playing no building, one of the most annoying things to have to deal with is someone sitting on top of those blimps, because you have to go to them, because if you try to run away, they've got field of view from every angle on you. But as long as you're right below, you're fine. So if you go up right below, then you use those rotors, we'll say, to launch away, fly out, and deploy your glider, then you're chilling.
Yeah, I think understanding sort of right angles, right, is just so key in this mode as a whole. You know, whether it's on the blimps or deeper into the games where you're trying to duck and weave between different bushes, trees, and rocks. Your understanding of angles can make or break you. It does seem like the two tilted teams are gonna live somewhat peacefully. I won't say, as soon as I say that right now, they start taking shots at each other, right? But it's the reason I wanted to speak a bit hesitantly. I think the tags there from Senpai will be enough to encourage him and entice him on into that fight. And FHD maybe shouldn't have taken the trade, because what a shot that was. Gets FHD down significantly low, less than 100 effective HP now, but the big pot will move him up. And that was great work there from Senpai and Draftel.
Ooh.
He wants to do it. He wants to do it. They're doing it. They're getting in. They're getting right in, but can they hit the shots to match it? It doesn't look like they can. FHD will take down Senpai. And so now Draftel, after taking down Yonks, will be in a 1v1 now, but his HP isn't looking too good. And I believe FHD is actually going to look to carry his teammate away. And he's got to be careful because he can be seen, FHD. You're not safe there, buddy.
Not at all. This is not going in either of the team's favor. Another one coming through. FHG looking to find it, but that jetpack going to be able to rearrange where they are. As that's going to be an elimination. No siphon comes through in this mode. FHG going to get shot from above. The MK7 doesn't do a lot of damage, but it does enough. It's about even on effective HP. Draftel trying to find FHD down below. The shotgun not there for FHG. It's going to take a little bit of damage there from Draftel. FHG looking a little bit lower. Team just coming over the hill. FHD going to go up, but goes down quickly after.
Yeah, as much as I'm sure FHD felt like the jetpack could be his saving grace in that fight, it just made him a sitting duck, right? Draftel could actually hear it, and so he knew to look up into the sky, knew just about where he was, and then at that point he just becomes a sitting duck, right? Because he's just sitting there in the air, no protection whatsoever. The angle doesn't really favor him either, and so Draftel will live to tell the story and hopefully pick up his teammate as well.
There's enough Reboot fans. They're going to be able to pick them up, right? I mean, at this point in Fortnite, with the way the reboot system works, if you're not picking up your teammate after that 5-minute reboot timer on the card, and with there being ample reboots all around the map, you're doing something wrong, right?
You could definitely make that argument. I think, again, right, what you'd say is that in no builds, there's that extra level of difficulty where usually when you're going to reboot your teammate, you can sort of box yourself up, on most of them at least, right? You know, add ample protection, ample cover. In this, though, you just got to sort of hope, right? You start up the reboot van, you just got to hope that nobody's in the vicinity and looking for an elimination. Because if they are, Clay, things can get really awkward. We'll say that much.
Cool, and we finally get to see the heavy sniper from a team, but the sniper's not going to connect. It doesn't seem like some AR tags will, but we see Spy on the other side getting a knock there onto Rakan. It looks like who is down as their teammate is trying to, it looked like, protect them, but as I said, that they just started driving away. FKS and Balor look to third party get this elimination, and they will go ahead and run over that player.
Yeah, you can see Dexa fight, dancing around the angles, trying to use some stairs as a bit of protection, make it more difficult for him to be seen. Balor and FKS, though, in a nice spot there, in terms of just having this truck, the cow catcher, will be nice, cruel. They just picked up an elimination, which is nice as well.
A little bit slower paced game from earlier. We're slowing down a little bit. Players are finding a groove, it seems like, but that's just second zone. I'm excited to see how these next couple zones go, because it changes very quickly. It goes from this very fast action in the off spawn to we have a little bit of leeway, a little bit further than normal, and then all of a sudden when you get into zone 5, 6, 7, and that usually doesn't go past that because of how many players get eliminated that quickly.
This is very interesting to me, Clay. There's a lot of players within this area right here. And at some point, Somebody starts shooting and maybe that point's already been passed. The truck blows up there. And you don't want to bring any unnecessary attention to yourself. And so sooner rather than later, you'd expect to see some of these guys bumping heads, clashing a bit. Or they exposing themselves a bit. See, look, this general area does have quite a bit of cover with the trees, right? All the bushes. But at a certain point, you can see Adapter has his eyes set on Cruel and the A7M.
Just look at the hide. Honestly, they're a solo there. Not really much they can do other than hide. And on the other side of the zone, this is where we'll see a lot of natural cover come through. But 11, if they don't get zoned, it's going to be very hard for them to rotate in. They do have the shockwaves, though, to aid in that journey. But it's going to be awkward running through these teams that already have their position set up.
Yeah, I like that spot there. Just where they're sitting is like really nice in terms of just they can sort of chill. But again, like you said, when they have to start moving in, there's not much for them to use as cover and it's gonna get real awkward. So, but then again, you can say the same for quite a lot of these guys in terms of where they're situated. You can see Cruel, he's got this mythic burst AR and he's looking to wreak havoc with it. Trying to catch anybody slipping. Goated in the feed, picking up quite a few eliminations, but then eventually getting taken out by Rabbit. So Goated, who we saw deep into last game, looked like he was doing well for himself in the feed, but I guess not.
I think it's another one of those tank moments, right? We saw him get a couple elims in that tank, go down right after, maybe happened again. And that's like the double-edged sword of the tank is, yes, you can get those elims, but once it's blown up, you're caught off guard in the middle of nowhere with nowhere to run. His Adapted is unfortunately going to be able to find out there. Wagner will find them. It was a solo-on-solo action, so an even fight, but Wagner had the jump.
Yeah, we saw Adapter for a long time, was just sort of probing, trying to figure out where he could find one, but all that in vain. Visi, though, picking up some decent shots and some decent damage being dealt to SNW's vehicle. But the thing about Modus and SNW that they have the necessary means to get through deep into this game. I say that, but again, these players not being aware, FKS doing some big damage now. And so the chunk splashes will have to come through in quickly, but it wasn't quick enough. FKS and Battle shot straight through with the shockwaves. And now this is critical HP for Modus and SNW, and they're split up as well. SNW doesn't seem to really stand a chance on his own. This is what happens in these games when you fall asleep for just that one moment, that 1 second. You think everything is lovely-doubly, but no. SNW down, Modisk left to fend for himself, and Bala and FKS will pick up their first of the game.
It's a great element, and that's some more cow catchers. They also grab a new repair torch, it looks like, but I was gonna say I didn't really see many downsides to that engagement there. They really can just rotate freely on the beach, have no real repercussions there, and that's when you take those engagements. You have to be careful with the players rotating behind, but looks like Wagner will try to get the split there on them, and because there's no building, you don't need the shotgun more than ever, right? In the building, you do need it because you're going to be a little bit closer together, but with the inability to build, you're not going to get close enough to go for those shots. And if you are, like Zoe is, it's just better to use an SMG.
Yeah, you're seeing here Zoe having to fend for his fallen teammate, and he's doing a decent job right now, and actually doing a brilliant job. But again, a brilliant job sometimes isn't enough. He will go down. And that was really tough. The shockwave just sort of blew him out of the building, and just those couple seconds where he was out of it, there were people with their rifles out, ready to pounce. There was just no room for error. And again, that's very similar to what we see, right? This is why we said, Clay, I guess it's no building, but it's still Fortnite, right? Building or no building, you ain't got much room for error. And we're seeing that play out, especially in these lobbies with these pros. We know how good these pros can aim, right? We know that they'll hit the shots if you give them the opportunity. And I think we actually did see the battle bus as well, so I'm sure Clay will be happy to see that.
It's great to see. I love, oh, there it is, right
there. It
and
is.
The reason I like it is because you just get so much cover from it. If you have the ability to make it like at an angle in front of you, you can just hide behind it for so long. And this is exactly what this team is doing. They put down a cow catcher. They're using it to hide on one side. Those tires are so big you can. They're gonna find a player on the other side who's trying to out-aim them, and they will. That's the advantage of that MK7 verse, is the burst rifle. It can just put that more consistent damage down if you have an angle. And Dylan, a different one than we saw earlier, still up with 0, had the angle, had the shots, and they are shield kicking back to full.
I'm watching season 2 or season 1 here, right? Because the MK being such a prominent part of the gameplay is huge right now. And you're seeing just what these players can do with it. Again, just when you think that your cover is enough, it never really seems to be. And so they will just hop into the battle bus. That seemed to be the best option for them, but it wasn't even good enough. 0. I was going to say we'll be able to profit from that, but making the wise decision, doesn't want to expose himself in the open. And so we'll back off. Snowy taking some shots towards FKS. FKS and Balor might not be the guys you want to be fighting. They've been on a bit of a roll in the past couple zones. Oh boy, FKS's cover completely shredded. And he's going to try to use a cow catch. And Balor, what a great teammate. Making sure to just occupy the opponents, giving FKS some time. And we'll see if that's going to be enough. Was it enough? No. FKS still goes down. Balor, it was a valiant effort, but he didn't do enough to keep his teammate in the game. And so he will have to fend off for himself.
Came down to just FKS not moving when they needed to. Wait a minute, Balor is gonna try to get them into zone, but look, everyone's coming over 0. And Dylan, say hi. You may have gotten away for just a little bit, but we are gonna bring that there as Shockwave is gonna be thrown by Wagner to try to push the enemies into zone. It doesn't matter. They're up in the air, just a sitting duck for these players.
This is silly, man. I can't believe it, right? You're seeing players trying their best to get out of dodge. But when you shockwave yourself like that up in the air, you're literally just inviting these guys to practice their aim. And we know they do that all day anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they're in a creative map when you give them those kind of opportunities. And we're seeing these two very hungry for those opportunities, looking in the air at every given moment. 0, the heavy sniper, can he hit the shot? Oh, he's got to be careful, down to 23 HP. That almost went very badly.
How did he not hit the shot too? They were just there. They had no cover essentially, but they have 10 elims, so that's our team right now to watch. And honestly, I feel what Rocky Reels is feeling right now. They've got the 2 SMGs. They're just hiding from the tank. Finally, the tank gonna blow up, but this is creative. This is where no building shows those players that do find these spots to hide, and we'll highlight that because they're just chilling.
I like these plays. These are my kind of plays. We're seeing again, this is a bit of a better, sort of closing zones from what we saw last game. A bit more cover, but even with a bit more cover, doesn't make a difference. Snowy will hit some shots, and he has his eyes set on another. 0, still looking to try and hit something with this heavy sniper, but he's got to be careful because it may cost him his life, and it does. Draft Tail will take him out. And passing out, looking to put in the hard yard. Snowy, got to be careful. We've already seen how Shockwave plays have gone so poorly for others. And it seems that it's gone poorly for him as well. Will be sent back to the lobby. Oh dear, any form of cover just doesn't seem to be enough right now. Passier's got to be careful. Barely surviving and makes his way to the truck, but he's got to be careful because Freemarie's right there, but Helen will take him out as well. Just not enough cover. You can see all this loot everywhere. All these players, Clay, just falling left, right, and center in the same sort of area, just without enough cover.
Not really much to go off of, and Senpai didn't go for the easy elim there. They have just put themselves in an awkward spot where Helen can 1v2 them, but the other team coming through, Shockwave, is too late and not gonna come through. Mori and their teammate now in a 2v2 situation. They're not in zone, the other team is, though they are behind something destructible. They're going in, they say, no, we're not gonna just sit there, wait, and let you come to us. And that may actually be their downfall there. Draft out now in an awkward situation. Mori has the advantage, has that cow catcher. Is just gonna keep spraying down the tree. A misplay may have come through. What can they do to adapt as Mori looks to try to finish them on off, and they will be able to.
Wow, what a shot. Freemery does brilliantly there to close it out. It was a 2v2 in the final moments, down to a 1v1, and they hit the shots needed to be able to close it out, Clay.
That was a great play from Mori, just to sit there and wait and watch. And sometimes you got to use your teammate as bait in that situation. Like, let's be frank. Sometimes you got to say, hey, you know what? You're going to go down, but I'm going to get this. I'm going to get the dub for us. And they did, so congratulations.